Well, not sure it's worth videoing much in here at the moment. It's still pitch black o'clock. So I will head on up the trail and hopefully the sun will come up soon. Well, the sun is thinking of coming up. I can see it on the hills the other side of the valley there. Oh dear, this is steep. For some reason I'm not as young as I used to be. And I still have to go all the way up there yet. But fortunately I can see daylight over there, which means I'm adjacent to that ridge, which means Big Boulder Corner is just up here somewhere. Oh. Yeah, for some reason I seem to have got older. I don't know how that works. Right, I will continue up there. It is darker than it looks. The camera makes it look, I'm looking at the picture on the camera, it actually makes it look lighter. So right, up I go. Whew. Stop for another rest. Right, that's the old trail, that's the new trail, and I'm going this way. Oh dear me. This is a slow plod, but I've reached just up there through the trees. I've reached what I call Big Boulder Corner. You'll see why when I get there. No clues, but it may be a big boulder. Oh. That is a real balls of the feet toe cruncher. There is a brand new trail that goes round, but it's 1 kilometre longer, so I opt for the steep bit. I keep telling myself I should come up the easy way and get down the steep bit, but that extra kilometre, it's great if you're on a bike, which is what it was designed for. On a bike, that extra kilometre makes no difference. Right, for obvious reasons, this is Big Boulder Corner. I can't imagine what that boulder came off of. Pushed here by some glacier years and years ago. There's loads of those up in here. Yeah. Oh, that's steep. That first bit is steep. It's horrible. It's steep, but it's done now. It's 600 meters, that crap. Right. From here on in, it's still up, but it's a very more kind of gentle up. So there we are, Big Boulder Corner. Oh, nice to be back here again. I was thinking about it on the way up here. It was about this time last year that I did this. I'll soon know, because at the top here there's a registry at the top of this mountain. I'll have a look, see what date it was I was here last year. Right, I can tell you now. Can you hear that wind? Hear that? Oh, that is so bloody nice. After coming up that hill, that is absolute pure magic. Right, I will continue up this way. From here on in, it's basically just a stroll all the way to the top of the hill. There is still a fair amount of elevation to go, but it is pretty much still, it's just a walk now as opposed to a slog. Right, on I go. Now this camera doesn't zoom very well, but there's a rock up in there that I call Monkey Face Rock. Because if you stand just exactly here, it looks like a big monkey face. I'll see if I can zoom in on that a little better and put a better picture in there. Might have to blow that up a bit. Right. Right, on I go. There is a ridge up along the top of there, but that's why we've got the wind funneling up. Right, up I go. Finally, the sun is coming up. Sunrise o'clock. Oh, it's always good to get a good start on the day. Now, the last time I came up here was like a 30-degree day. Just checking out these rock caves over here. See these? Always keep an eye on those, because you never know what lives in those. At ground level like that, it's usually nothing bad. Yes, unfortunately there are no stunning views up here until you get out of the forest, which is a little ways up yet, but at least I have sun up now. That's good. Nice slow plod through the forest. Sunlight's nice, eh? Yeah. Nice slow plod through the forest. I've noticed there's a lot of, I don't know if you can see them over there, mountain ash, round trees. A lot of berries on those this year. Lots. I've seen quite a few up in here. I don't remember seeing hardly any last year. But, oh yeah, sun's up. That's nice. Wait, quick, run short. Make some noise. Oh yeah, that's looking nice, eh? Right, we will continue up the way till I get up near the top. Right, sun is definitely up now. Right, on what I call Rocky Corner. Yeah. Somebody had ripped off a whole bunch of trail tape down there, slung it all in a big heap in the middle of the trail, and blocked off this trail coming up here. I suspect it was somebody on a mountain bike, because the only other route that goes the other way is the mountain bike route. Trails are marked for a reason, people, not just for your enjoyment. These trails go to more than one places. That's a very important T intersection down there. And if you go the wrong way, it'll take you back down a very steep hill. Yeah, this piece up in here has a fair amount of flagging on it. There's a reason for that. Is in the winter, once the snow's on the ground, and you can see the trail now, but in the winter, once the snow's on the ground, there's big holes in here. Yeah. So the trail through here is marked with quite a lot of tape, and that is done for a reason. Yeah. We're nearly out the forest now, at the other end. Yeah. Oh, squirrels have been busy there, look at that. Let's make our way up around this way, I think. Take the wimp route. Oh, there we go. Right, very nearly out the forest. The other end of here, before I head out the forest, I will have a drink of water. Yeah, so this bit in here is really rocky, full of holes. So you'll actually find a fair amount of flaking tape in there. And that is done for a reason, people. This is a trail that people use in the winter. So, oh, isn't that greened up a bit? Oh wow, look at that. Yeah. Every year I come here, they log this out. First time I come up here, it looked like it had been devastated. And then now it's all thickening up with bushes. Some of these trees are getting up there. Look at this guy. Yeah. That tree's 3 foot tall. Wow. Yeah, right. So when you come out the top of the forest, that's the way you've just come through there. When you come out the top of the forest, you're basically going to make your way across through that gap over there and then up along the top. And where I'm heading is up in that far corner over there. Ooh, that sun is bright. Glad I bought my hat. Yeah, right. I'm going to wander out across that way and do some more when I get further across. The dust in the distance you can see over there is the dust off the road. Yeah. Oh, I can tell you now, that breeze is quite nice. Not sure how much filming I'm going to be able to do up in here because the wind is quite something. Yeah. So I'm very impressed with how much these little trees have grown. Wow. Now you can go up through here, over the top of that hill, follow it around in a great big horseshoe, and that's a very nice walk. I'm not doing that today. It's going to be another very hot day today. I am super impressed with how big these trees are. Look at some of these. I can remember these from like last year. They were tiny little trees. Just shows you how quickly nature takes it back again, eh? Yeah. It always looks like it's devastated, but it's not. It's actually a very important part of the forest. Look how tall this one is. Wow, that again, that's a 4 foot stick next to that. So that tree is 3 foot, 3'6". Something like that. It's nearly as tall as that stuff. I bet next year that'll be as tall as this pole. Right, I'm going to continue on that way. Right, that's the way I'm going. I'm going to do a quick 360. That wind is nice, I can tell you. Yeah. That'll head across that's all Eagle Hill and what have you. Looking down towards the road. Calgary's roughly that way. Where I'm going is roughly up over that way. Oh, that breeze is nice. It's probably playing havoc with this camera, so I'll turn this off for a bit. This is a good spot to stop for a second. Over there we have that lumpy one, that is Yates Mountain. Then we've got Door Jam and all that other good stuff along there. And right smack in the middle there we have Kananaskis. Then that heads off into the climbing valley and off up the Waitress area there. But yeah, I just saw a vehicle down through there. I can see another one right down between those trees in that gap there, that V. That's the Trans-Canada Highway out there. Yeah. Right, like I say, that's Eagle Hill over there. What a glorious spot. It's nice. And the good thing about doing this hike, I'm going to say it and then 50 people turn up, is you hardly see anybody on this trail. He says this is what I call ouchie leg trail. Long story. Yeah, right. Now I've said that, 50 people will be the other side of this hill you watch. Right, that big mountain straight through there, and that ridge, that's where I built the bottom of that mountain. That's where I cleared out that trail for the last few weekends and built the bridge in the bottom. Anybody that's curious, that's at the bottom of that mountain over there. Alright, I'll do some more when I get up the top here. Right, the wind has dropped, so I'll do this bit of video here. Right, that mountain there, that's Boundary Peak, that's the ridge. You follow that ridge along, you'll see an isolated little clump of trees, and just down from that clump of trees you'll see like a, looks like a clear piece. That's actually like a meadow bit, but that's where that alder trail comes out into that little meadow piece there. So that valley all up through there, that's where I made that trail a bit better there the other week, cleared all that out. Yeah, so you go up there, pass that little piece up onto the ridge, all the way up to the top there, and that will take you up to the top of Boundary Peak. Now that's Boundary Peak Kananaskis. There is another Boundary Peak up at Jasper. Don't get the two confused, they are very different mountains, that's for sure. This one here is not too bad. The other one, I've only seen one recent video of somebody went up there. The Corey from Live on Alberta, he went up there. Oh, that's a killer. Hats off to him for doing that. I can tell you that's an absolute killer. Yeah, that's way beyond my capabilities. So all along there you've got Blairmore Brown, and there's Fortress and all that kind of good stuff over there. And it's off down the ranges. It's Fisher Range there, I believe. And yeah, but it's the peak, and down through that clearing that you can just make out over on the side there. That's where that other trail came out up in there. Up on the top of that ridge over there you can just about make out a small clearing. That is the southern end of Hunchback Hills. That's the one that most people go to. Where I'm going is that way, almost east. Right, on I go. Well, that's the geocache all sorted out. Left a few surprises in there, added a few little bits in there, put my name in the book. And ironically, 6th of September last year, I was the last person to put their name in the book, so I don't think this one gets visited very often. So if you're up here, put your name in the book. Yeah, today is the 20th of September 2025. I was here 6th of September 24, and the 17th of September 23, I think. Yeah, so yeah, prior to that, Tony and Jill Daffron were the only ones that have been up here, and there was a family, I can't remember, no, Josh, I think they've no family number, somebody called Josh. But that is it, not too many names in the book, so if you come up here, put your name in the book. Yeah, there used to be a flag on here. I've cleaned up all the bits. I will take all that back down off the mountain with me, all the bits that were here. There used to be a flag up here. That unfortunately is all that's left of it, so I will carry all that crap out of here. I'm not going to leave it on the mountain. But, yeah, what an amazing view. Over there, that hill over there is Moose Mountain with a fire lookout on the top. That one there is Cox Hill. All down through here, this is all like Belmore Brown, and the other side of these trees where I was showing you earlier on, that's Boundary Peak. That's where I cleared out all that crap there the other week and did the bridge. I can't believe how much these trees are growing. Look at all these little trees, they're everywhere. This whole area is greening up so fast. That hillside over the other side of there, that is, you can go up there and up, there's a little bit of a rock band just the other side of that hill. That's a nice view from up there if you want to plod up there, if you're feeling so inclined. There's no decent trail up through there. It's kind of a make it up as you go along. But it's easy to get up there. It's not hard at all. It's very easy just to wander up there and then down the other side. None of this up here is hard. This piece across here, this piece coming up, you come up by this little group of trees here. This is all just slash and crap and what have you, and it's all this, but it's all breaking down real fast, I can tell you. In the 3 years that I've been coming up here, kind of looking after the trail and what have you, the difference is amazing. The amount it's greening up is absolutely fantastic. So when I was up here last year, I built a nice little bench, so I'm going to sit on my nice little bench. Look at the precision engineering in that bench, absolutely fantastic, eh? Yeah, sling a hat and a sweatshirt on it, makes it perfect. Yeah, so the little geocache thing is over there. This is my nice little bench. I have food in there, so I'm going to sit down and enjoy that view. I can see, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but all down at the bottom there's all those shiny pieces down through there. That's where all the beavers have been damming up the water. Way in the distance I can see the dust of the road. I can just about, on the horizon, I can just about make out the shape of Calgary, but it's very hazy out that way. So what a glorious day. Lovely sunny day, and just enough wind to make it nice but not crazy. So I'm going to just sit down and enjoy this spot for a while. Isn't that amazing? Fantastic. Bonus points if anybody can guess what I'm having to eat. Give you a clue. It starts with sausage and ends in roll. Love these things. It's my waterproofs. So I'll take what's left of this back down the mountain. Not a lot left of it now, that's for sure. Fireweed seeds. That's why this stuff spreads so fast. But I can tell you now, the bees and stuff, they love that. Yeah, everywhere, all I can see in here is the remains of wildflowers and stuff. Millions of little trees all coming up everywhere in here. 30 years from now, you won't even know this was cut. Cheers, people. Didn't bring tea, just bought water today. In fact, get some of that. Makes that easier to carry, I guess. There we go. Very nice. That's a good hill. The Cox Hill. That's good. It's a good spot. suspect Cox Hill today, which is that one there, I suspect that'll be busy today. That's a mountain biker's dream, that is. They will go down here, they do the zigzaggy bit that goes up that ridge over there, and then they ride along the entire ridge, and then when they get to the top there, that is downhill pretty much all the way down into the bottom of here. Shell Hill's just here. It takes you all the way down into the bottom of the valley. Look at all these seeds blowing through here. I don't know if they're showing up on the camera. This is all fireweed. This is certainly a good spot to come. Right, I'm going to sit back down on that amazingly well built bench. Not that I'm biased, I built it. And enjoy another sausage roll, I think. Right, let me do that. Yeah, certainly picked a good day to come up here. Right, let's have something else to eat. Well, it doesn't get much better than this. Sitting on top of a mountain. It's really quiet. There's an eagle or something over there, a hawk or an eagle or something over there hunting. It's like a big hawk. Flying around in circles there. I don't know if this camera will even pick that up. But it's quite something to sit and watch them. They make it look so easy. The sound. All I can hear up here is like a couple of insects, a little bit of wind, nothing. Absolutely nothing. More people should do this. Crickety thing over there somewhere making a noise. Occasional bit of wind. Just me in the mountains, some sunshine. And an eagle that's now disappeared. I'm not sure where he went. Yeah, it's a bit hazy over towards the mountains that way. If you went up that valley over there, that would take you out towards Canmore way. Wouldn't want to be out that way today. Ooh, I suspect that'll be busy. Although the free admission to the parks has now stopped. That finished on the 2nd, I think. Need to get some camping trips in. I was planning on having a camping trip either this weekend or next weekend. We have a fire advisory at the moment. We don't have a fire ban, we have a fire advisory, which to my way of thinking, if I don't need a fire, I don't need one. There's one less possible risk. But it's been a bit dry. July is when I'd like to do most of my overnights and what have you, but it's because the overnights are still fairly warmish. Yeah, the other time I like to do it is when there's a bit of snow on the ground, because if there's snow on the ground I can have a decent fire, and you can use that fire to keep you warm all night. However, you can't have an overnight fire in this weather. You just can't do it. It's too dry. Yeah, you wake up in the middle of a bloody forest fire. Never ever go to sleep and leave a fire going. Never. It's in the middle of winter and there's a foot of snow on the ground. That's kind of different. We're coming up for that time of the year. It's still warm enough for camping trips, and still there'll be plenty of snow on the ground. Can't hear anything, just the wind. I haven't muted the sound. That is just it. There's nothing. Oh, there's a fly. Woohoo! Every time I've sat here at the bottom of that hill, there's a dark shape at the bottom of that hill, and every time I sat here, I sit and look at it, just to make sure it's not moving. Surprising how good you become at looking for things that move in the mountains and the forests. Yeah. Amazing, peaceful place. Thoroughly enjoy sitting here doing nothing. Last few weekends I've been building trails, building bridges and clearing up deadfall and all kinds of crap. That trail down through the mountains, straight through those trees over there, that's that one that I did. The northern approach of Boundary Peak there. Yeah, did 3 weekends worth of that. And it's nice now because I'm actually hiking in hiking boots, not welly boots. No water up here. I've got all my gear off. Didn't bring a backpack today because I've got everything I need in that little pouch there. Yeah. It's amazing. I can get everything I need to spend the night on that kit belt. So I have in here, I have my poncho. So I've got waterproofs and shelter. I have food, water, everything I need. Fire lighting kits, you name it. Everything I need to spend the night is in there. Hanging on that belt. Yep. Yes. What was it Moores used to say? The more you know, the less you carry. It's quite true. I like to have my pack because in my pack, I usually have tea. Yeah. But then I can have my big tarps in there, and I can tell you now it's easier to build a shelter out of a 9x12 or 10x12 tarp than it is out of a poncho. Poncho will keep you dry, but you are the shelter at that point. Yeah, done that a few times. Shelter out, poncho on, bottom of a tree, job done. Yeah. You're dry, not necessarily comfortable, and sleeping sitting up is a bit of a pain in the rear end, but it done that a few times. Yeah. Makes for a very interesting night, that's for sure. Yeah. Can't believe how quiet it is. Absolutely amazed at how much these little trees are growing in here. They're everywhere. Everywhere I look now, all I can see is like thousands and thousands of these little trees popping out the ground. Yeah, which is good. I'll take it. Nature working its magic. I know people look at it and say, oh Christ, they've cut the trees down, it's all clear cut, and you know there's more bits is cut over there and all that kind of stuff. It is grown as a crop, and it does need cycling. You do have to cycle it. If you don't, you end up with a forest all exactly the same age. It dies all at the same age, and then it struggles to reproduce, and then the next thing you know, you get one lightning strike out the middle of nowhere. Hey presto, no forest. Yeah, I know forest fires and what have you are the natural process and what have you, but it's way better if we manage what we do with the forests. Yeah. And everything you see here is managed forest. It always looks like it's get off fly. It always looks like it's complete and utter wilderness in the middle of nowhere, but I can assure you it's not. Yeah, yeah. I don't know how many times this has been cut and regrown and what have you. You go through some of the older forests, like I know there's some places over here where the forest is quite old, and as you go through there and you find tree stumps in there that are obviously from a previous cut, and then you can see other stumps that are completely and utterly rotted away, so that you know that they were cut the previous time. Yeah, they've been harvesting the trees up through here for God knows how long. Yeah, there's probably been 3 or 4 cycles of trees up through here. Some of it's natural forest, it's not all been harvested, but a vast majority of it has been. Yeah, and will continue to be, and it's absolutely vital that it is. Yeah. Right, well, I'm going to stop yabbering. I'm just going to sit here, enjoy this sunshine. If it wasn't so prickly on the ground, I'd just lay down and have a nap. But what a fantastic place for a nap. I should build a bed. Yeah, if these trees weren't quite so bloody rough, I'd build a log bed up here. But my chair is doing very well. Very pleased with my chair. So, right, I'm going to shut up rabbiting and just enjoy the sunshine. Built up the can there a little bit. It's all kind of falling down. sometimes you just have to stand on top of a mountain and look. What a great mountain to stand on. It's not a huge height, it's only about 300-400 metres up here, I guess, elevation gain. It's not much. It's fairly steep at the beginning, I can tell you it's steep. Yeah, that's pretty good. Very good. Every time I come to places like this, I always make a point of stopping, having a look around. There's all this deadfall and that down through here. Always stop and look. Because you never know when you're going to come up here again. Might be the last time I ever come up here, who knows. Or I might come up here next year and find that my name is in the book as well. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Hill over there, it's Cox Hill. I'm willing to betcha. I should bring a pair of binoculars with me. I do have some binoculars. I should bring them with me when I come up to places like this. It'd be very interesting to see if there's people up here. Yeah. Right. What I will do, I'll have one last look around. Let's move that off of there. Have one last look around. And I'll start heading back down. My bench is good. I do like my bench. When I came up here, I like to have a rock to sit on. There was no rock, so I just got one of those logs, cut it in half, stuck it on there, put some logs on it, job done. Hey presto, one bench, works great. Yes, shadow people. Hi shadow people. Right, the silence up here is absolutely amazing. Yeah, so I'm going to disturb that silence now. I've got to walk back across that way, crunch through all this garbage. There is no trail through here, you just kind of head that way, just work your way through the slash and end up over by those trees over here. As long as you get to those, just go around those trees and head back into the forest that's over that side. It's really easy. Yeah, I'll have a look when I get down the bottom of here, see how much slash there is. I might nip up that hill over there and just have a look. Right, we shall see. Well, I decided not to go up that hill over there. Working your way across all this slash is a little bit of a pain in the ass. Look at the height of some of these trees. So this pole, yeah, this is a 4-foot pole, so that's more than half. So it's about 2.5 foot, that tree already. It's doing pretty well, and they're everywhere. It's absolutely, I can't believe how quickly this is recovering. It's absolutely amazing. Everywhere I look, thousands and thousands of little trees. Yeah. It's quite nice to see actually. Yeah, it's good habitat for deer, wildlife. Like a thick forest. Yeah, it looks great, it's full of trees. But the amount of stuff that lives in there is it's not as much as people might think. You know, they think, oh, all the wildlife wants to live in there, but there's not a lot of food in there. The food for all the grazing animals, like deer and stuff, is out here. This is grazing territory right here. Yeah. All the roads are, people say, you know, they bulldoze all these roads through here. What you're looking at in front of me here, this piece here, this was the road. The road went across there and up around the other side. And, that was the road. Yeah. So, as you can see, it's not now. Yeah. It's very dry, it's very crunchy, that's for sure. Trying to avoid stepping on the little trees. Yeah, but this piece I'm walking down now, see this slightly lighter greyish area? Yeah, this was the road. People say, you know, they bulldoze roads and leave roads everywhere and the rest of it. They don't. Yeah. Look at it. trees everywhere. Thousands and thousands of them. Thousands and thousands of strips of deadfall for me to walk over to. But as I walk over it, I actually help break it down very, very minorly. Yes, yes, nothing stunningly different. Right, down there in the trees, right where I'm pointing, let's see if it'll come out. Down there, that rock band there, that's 70 Buck Hill. Right behind it is Eagle Hill, and I know that from the top of there to there is north, so that right across there is dead north. Yeah. So we have about 3 hours to midday. Looking at where the sun is, I'd say we have about 3 hours to midday, because if that's dead north, south will be right behind me, so that's, yeah, so 15 degrees per hour, so probably about 3 hours. Yeah, so probably about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, somewhere in there. So yeah, I would say probably nearer to 10, not quite. I'm a little off on my angle there, and I'm only estimating the degrees behind me, so I'd say 3 hours. So let's go on the conservative side. Let's say it's 9:30. Yeah, I was up here this morning. It was dark o'clock when I got up here this morning. But that's a nice walk down through there. That 70 Buck Hill that you can see down through there, that ridge band in there, cliff band. That it's a very nice walk along there. That piece coming up in there. The first bit of it is insanely steep. That's a real toe cruncher, but everywhere in Kananaskis is insanely steep like that. Every single trail that you do, doesn't matter, every trail that you do, it starts off with a steep bit. Right, let's get back onto something that's starting to emerge as a trail. If you look, you can just about see there's something starting to emerge as a trail up through here. Yeah, it disappears up through there. Look. Yeah. And that's what happens when you get people walk it, animals walk it, people walk it. Eventually a trail will appear. Right, where I'm heading is that piece of forest over there. You see that green hill just there? There's a piece of forest right on that corner there. That's where I'm heading, down into there. Right, so I've stopped off on Algae Leg Hill, as I call it. One last look through here. That mountain over there, like I say, that's Boundary Peak, the ridge. I decided not to go up there. You can go up there and onto the next hill, which I can see just behind it, and there's a trail that comes down the back of that one and will take you down to the road. There's a road in the bottom of this valley down here. There's a road down there. That's where I'm parked, down there. Yeah, the Trans-Canada Highway is out through there. You can just about see stuff moving on it. I can see the sun shining on it. The road that you drive in on down here is down there. The yellow sign is down there for the corners. Yeah. Yes. That hill over there, that smaller one, that's Deer Ridge. And it's, if you go along Deer Ridge, you go up to the first peak, then you climb up to the what I call the high peak. Then you come back down the back, and then you'll see that down the back of the valley there's a cut line. You can see the continuation of the cut line on this side. But you go down into that valley and then back around, and that'll take you around to the Sibbald Lake area. Let's see, 70 Buck Hill, Eagle Hill. Can't remember the name of that ridge along there. Apparently it's not a very interesting walk along there, but all of these hills here, Lusk Ridge, Horton Hill, that one that pokes up over the top of there, that's Yates Mountain. There's a fire lookout on the top of that one as well. And you've got Yamnuska and whatever. I think that'll be busy today. It's a sunny day, but it's cool enough to not be a killer. Yeah, you can only be climbing up that thing if it's like 40 degrees and roasty bloody hot, that's for sure. Yeah. Yes, that's one that would be nicer to travel up if it was a little cooler. Yeah. Then you got the main valley runs off up through that way. You can go around the back of the mountains through there and come back in the back of Two Jacks Lake and all that kind of stuff, so around the back of there. You can go that way. I'm spending a long time coming down this hill because It is such a nice walk. Such a nice walk. I know a lot of people like to do the amazing Instagram routes, and they like stunning views in every location, you know, 365. However, the down through here, one of the interesting things is, right, before they cut the forest, before this was cleared for timber, you couldn't see anything from here. You get little glimpses of maybe stuff in it, but look at the view now. Yeah, this is actually a really nice walk up through here. I don't know why more people don't do it. I guess a lot of people don't even know it's here, I guess, but yeah, you just walk up there. It's this piece is actually a really easy trail. You come down through here and you'll just cut down through the trees over there in a minute, and then back into the forest on that corner over there. Yeah, it's a really nice walk up here actually. First bit's a little steep, but they did make a proper bike trail up through there. So yeah, certainly not a bad walk. It's a good place to explore, and it's quiet too. Ain't too many people up this way. Yeah, if you want to walk off the beaten track, this is a good one. Get some good views too. Bring a good camera. I mean, the GoPro is good for what it does, but like I can see so many pictures with my good cameras. If I could zoom in from here, you know, bring up a 300-400mm zoom, yeah, you get some really good pictures from here. I can just about make out Calgary on the hazy skyline, but I know this camera's not even probably going to pick out the skyline. So, right, I'm going to head back down that way. Well, that was a very nice slow walk down from the top. Up there is where I went along the top of that ridge there, down the back, down through here. The trail comes down through this piece and back into the forest. Right there. Yeah. Yep. That is a very nice walk. Very nice walk indeed. There's a nice rocky section down through here. I like to walk down around. In actual fact, I think I'll go along the bottom bit. The trail actually goes along there, but you can walk along the bottom bit over here. It's done this photo a few times. Gonna head back over that way and do it again. The actual trail goes along the top of that rocky piece there. You can come down along the bottom of here. This is quite nice. Yeah, the trail just goes along the top of this rock. That's what it does. Yeah. Somebody's built some kind of stairs there. Yeah. Back down into the forest. It's nice and cool in here, I can tell you. It's actually quite warm out there. You don't realise how warm that is out there. Yeah. Yes. Very noticeably different in here. Oh, I did bring extra layers with me today, thinking I might need them. Apparently not. The last time I came across here, there were some nice little green weeds growing over there. I guess not today. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I've sat here and had a rest before now. This is a nice little corner. That rock there, that rock is just the right angle to lay on. It really is. It's got that nice little downslope on it, and it's about 6 to 8 feet across, and it's actually a very nice spot just to lay down and have a rest. Yeah. So, with that said, I think I'm going to have a rest. Yes, this slab is exactly the right angle to sit on. Right, I'm going to do that and then head down the trail that way in a bit. There's a nice little bit of rock there. I bet there's some critters living there. Yeah, good place for all the small stuff to hide. Lots of little hidey holes in there. I can see animals and that have been in there. Yeah, so we find squirrels and pikers and all kinds of things in there. Right, I'm going to head back down the hill on an amazing day. So the walk down through the forest is actually very nice. It's just this nice little downhill, little rocky in places. You do have to watch your footing, but I can tell you now, it is infinitely nicer walking back down here. It's a really nice forested trail. But it's only a very, very pleasant walk. You can't hold this. Other than my gear clattering around, you can't hear anything. Yep. Very nice place for a walk, that's for sure. Look at the berries on the mountain ash. Loads and loads of them. I've been looking at them all the way down there. There's loads of them all along here. Yeah. Very nice. The wind's nice too. There's not much wind down in the bottom of the trees though. It's nice to hear it in the tops of the trees. Right, my trail continues back on down that way. Right, back to Big Boulder Corner. I tell you now, a lot easier walking down this hill than it is up it. That thing's probably only about 10-12 feet high, I guess, 12 feet. That's a big rock. Yeah. There is a rock band that runs all the way down the back of here. It disappears in and out. But there's no easy route along the top of it. It's a shame, because that would actually be a nice walk. Not that you can see anything. You've got no view from up there whatsoever, but it's always interesting. Right, more downhill. I'm certainly enjoying the downhill now, I can tell you. Right, so I'm back at the bottom of the four-way. I tell you now, it's a lot quicker coming down that 600 metres of trail than it is going up it. Right, so that way is the short way but very steep way of going up the mountain, 600 metres. That way is the new trail, which is much better for bikes and what have you, which is why they built it that way. That's 1.6 kilometres going up there, but if you're going by bike, that is way, way better. That's why they built it. If you're going back to the road, that trail down through there, it suddenly drops off and gets insanely steep. So you're better off actually using this old logging road that goes down there, on Prospecting Road or something by the look of it. So it goes down. So this is the four-way junction. That takes you back to the road. That's the short route, 600 metres but steep. That's the longer 1.6 kilometre trip, but way easier, just longer. That's the very steep way back down to the bottom, to the road, and that's the way I'm going, because that's the easy way. Right, down I go. Here I am back at the bottom of the trail. Leaves are all coming out of the trees. Look. Yeah, that time of the year. Road's over there. That's $70 hill up there. That one you can see up there, that cliff band. That's $70. That's a really nice place. I like going up there. It's nice. Nice walk. First bit steep, but it's certainly a very nice walk. Right, that's your trail up the mountains. Thanks for coming along.